Hello everyone and welcome back to Game Brigade. I am Bryan and today we're going to be talking about Tamashii, Chronicles of the Ascend, one of the newest games that hit Gamefound this week, brought to us by Awaken Realms Lite. If you are looking at this campaign, you're looking for maybe a little bit of help navigating through it, understanding some of the nuances, this video is for you because I'm going to be talking about my thoughts about this campaign, about the game, what I might recommend going forward, so stay tuned for more. Okay, Tamashii, Chronicles of the Ascend, brought to us by Awaken Realms Lite. Now, if you are confused about Awaken Realms Lite versus the relationship with Awaken Realms, effectively, Awaken Realms Lite is a sister company to Awaken Realms, and originally their design was to make games that were lighter to hit to the table. Now, historically, their games have been very, very light, and I actually have not been very interested in any of the titles to this point, just because the lighter games don't generally hit for me. This one is obviously standing out because it doesn't fit within the narrative, or not the narrative, but it doesn't fit within the categories of what Awaken Realms Lite normally produces. Tamashii, let's go ahead and scroll down to here. It is a game set in the future where AI has now become so powerful, so rampant that it kind of controls the world, and humans are actually now trying to fight for their survival in this realm. There's a lot of IPs that could fit into this world. You could say Blade Runner, Cyberpunk, Netrunner, Android Netrunner, even Ghost in the Shell. And I think that this actually takes some aspects of all of those different IPs to kind of combine it into its own world that it's creating here. So effectively, you are able to transfer your essence, your soul, whatever they want to call it, and transfer it into other bodies where you can then take control of those bodies. So effectively, you can't die because you're able to keep moving forward. Very similar to Ghost in the Shell, where you're able to transfer your ghost to another shell effectively and keep performing. So this game, we are going to be taking on the role of those humans that can do that. So initially, you're going to start with just a standard body, but eventually you're going to be able to unlock and get access to these additional ones. The Raider, Assassin, Spy, the Hacker, for example. And these characters all have different types of skills that will help you achieve the specific scenario that you're currently all working on. And this game is a cooperative game, but they're also offering a competitive mode depending on your player group, what works best. And from what I can gather, I haven't seen the rule book, but what I can gather, basically the scenarios are, the way the scenarios will be for the competitive mode or the cooperative mode are all going to be different, and they're going to have different types of tasks that you can complete. So the competitive mode may, in one scenario, have you try to find a location as quick as possible, while in another scenario has doing something completely different. So just know that there are the possibilities, based on what I'm seeing with the cooperative scenarios, that there's a lot of variable options in there. So that is the essence of the game in terms of the lore. But what are we doing in this game? Well, in this game, we are going to be looking at, there's going to be, let's see if I can find a good, I wish they had like a really good graphical setting for me to show you. But of course, they're always impossible to find. But here's a good example of these standard bodies that I was talking about, the walkers. And actually, this shows me a great part of this part. But I want to see if I can find. Here we go. So we're going to have a grid. And so we're going to be exploring this hex-based grid of a map. And these are all going to be assigned based on the boss. You can see here, they kind of show the prologue. This is the map you're going to outline. The Hades Rising kind of outline the map. And you're going to be usually looking for certain locations, or these are all going to all have different types of actions you can take. And everything I've seen from this, everyone keeps talking about it's two separate games, because you're also going to have this bag building game that you're going to be playing additionally using this hacker board here, where you're going to be taking components from your bag, which you will be building, trying to improve it to make it better, placing tokens through here, and then using your abilities to make some sort of combinations or codes to increase your firewall level or whatever. So you're going to have this. And then you're going to be having your board here where you're going to be trying to take your actions and complete through this. And then the combat system is a little bit more abstract from what I'm seeing, because there's not going to be representations as of right now. of enemies on the board, but more of them. There's like a little card that you're looking at right down here. These kind of cards that instead you're going to be interacting, which are the enemies in the game. So that is the core gameplay loop. I would definitely recommend watching several of these content creators from Board Game Co., Quackalope, Rado. Any of these guys all have really good ideas to talk about how the game is. So if you want to see actual prototypes in play, this is probably the best way to do that. But let's talk about the pledge levels and talk about why are we wanting to back this game now versus potentially waiting for retail. For one, it's hard sometimes to guarantee that Awaken Realms title in general, either the main company or even Lite, will make it to retail. So if this is a game that you are interested in some manner, I generally recommend trying to back it during the campaign. But there are times that the games have made it to retail. And the difference, I think my cat has decided to say hello. Oh, you might be able to see her. She's down here meowing. She's going crazy. Anyways, side tangent aside, there are times the games have made it to retail. And so generally what we experience that is the lack of the stretch goal box. So you'll be getting everything in the core box, minus any stretch goals. And I also have rarely seen, it depends on the LGS who has backed the game, any of these miniature packs or any additional packs. So generally you'd be just getting the core box around the $50 price point at that point. So if you are interested in the game, we are going to be looking at the stretch goals for the value, as well as the miniature pack, if that's the route you want to take. So let's talk about that. What is the miniature pack? So just like all the other Awaken Realms games that have come out as of late, they have tokens that represent everything you're going to experience in the game, but you can also get an additional miniatures pack to basically change all those tokens that could be either cardboard standees or circular tokens, a cardboard token, to turn it into an actual miniature for a physical representation on the board. They are contentious in a manner because a lot of people say that the miniatures, you're paying quite a bit. You're paying, what, $40 for this miniature box? But then you aren't getting a lot of use. Sometimes a miniature may only get 1 or 2 uses in the entire game before you no longer use it. So make sure that you know that when you're backing this game with the miniature, to understand that it's a cosmetic upgrade solely. It doesn't add any gameplay elements. It's purely for a cosmetic upgrade, and you're doing that because you're wanting to enhance the gameplay experience for you. Otherwise, the core pledge, which comes in at 66 euros, will have everything you're looking for. As I said, though, it's going to have standees for the characters rather than those miniatures. And so this is a great example of what those standees might look like. But personally, depending on what you're thinking, I actually don't think these standees look too bad. I generally like standees when they have interesting art and are well designed. All of these look fairly good, and so you might have to say, would a 35mm gray mini be better than this? The thing that I also want to make sure I point out with the pledge, I wonder if they have a picture here. They don't. Let me see if I can find it. Is the minis that they're showing off all have action poses. So sometimes those action poses are good, but it depends on what you're looking for in your minis. So sometimes you might not like it. I generally like a pose like this, kind of a pose that could be played in many different situations. Other people like poses like this, where it looks like the miniature is in action at that time. But Awaken Realms takes that to another level, and I really would love to see if I could find I really want to show you guys because it's very striking in terms of what they do. Man, this is just where I was at. Where do you guys hide it? Where do you hide it? Cyberpledge? No. Maybe. Here we go. Maybe if they click in here. Here we go. Okay, so this is the miniature pack. So $43. I was close enough. Talking about the standees. So these are the replacement for the walkers. I do like that they're giving us a female option. So you have either gender if you want to play for that, which is great. And then we've got the assassin here. So you can see very action pose, rogue. I really like this look. I like the idea that they're using her cape as the mounting bracket, so you can have her kind of jumping backwards. You've got the chemist, pretty cool pose. The defender, I think this is great. And this is where you're getting in those interesting choices. Very similar to what I remember with Nemesis, where they have them with landmarks. Basically, the miniature is standing next to a landmark of some sort. So you got her standing on this box with some sort of drone that she's potentially hacking. You've got the hacker, and I actually really like this mini. This mini alone could just be like on my computer. I like this mini a lot just for that effect. I think it's pretty sweet. The visionary, I mean, this is pretty sweet. Some Doc Ock looking stuff. Knight, again, I told you I like the Knight because that, to me, I could use that in other RPG-like games. Slasher. Now, this one was very interesting. Scout. Like, this is just such an oddball choice for me in terms of the decision-making. But obviously, they're trying to show that the Scout is either planting something on the security camera. But it's just an odd choice to me for a miniature that I'm going to be, like, trying to move around the board. It just seems odd. This one's fine. I like the way they do their these hex grid shields. And then the soldier, again, another action pose that to me might just be a little bit too much action-y, but that's my personal aesthetics. I mean, some of you guys might love this, but that's just mine. And of course, they're going to be adding more as the stretch goals go on. So let's talk about stretch goals, because that is, again, where the value of this game is going to be coming in. Now, this is obviously day one. The campaign launched today, so we're not going to see a lot of stretch goals right now showing the value, but generally the box of the stretch goal box is equivalent size to the core box, so they're generally going to fill it up with quite a bit of additional content. Again, and that content is only available to Gamefound, so it's usually considered Gamefound exclusive, so make sure you're aware of that. The release structure for this for these stretch goals are going to be daily unlocks every 2 days. So there's going to be a lag day in between. And they do mention it in the FAQ, or the update rather. It's an update. They mentioned that there is a monetary unlock once we reach a certain point. So they talk about here, they will reveal some monetary stretch goals once we unlock a certain pledge level, which indicates there's probably going to be an additional pledge level with probably additional expansions. So be aware of that. I would assume that there's going to be expansions as well as a sun drop type pledge level. But they do say that they are not hoping that this campaign gets overly bloated. So we're hoping for less than $200 in terms of, or 200 euros in terms of an all-in, if that's where you wanted to go. So filing it up with shipping, VAT is included in the price of this game. So they're going to wrapping the VAT cost for everyone, but they're going to be paying that. So if you are a VAT person, so EU or UK, you're not going to have to worry about that. They do say in this that if you, because they are wrapping VAT into everyone, they're making everyone pay everyone's VAT, that it will help subsidize the shipping for everyone else. So you could take that as you want. But we're going to be looking at US because I'm a US based, and it's where I like to focus. For 21 euros, you're getting the core pledge, or 22 for the cyber pledge. So at that point, it's very much incentivizing you to go the cyber pledge because it's only $1 more in terms of shipping. But again, you're obviously adding in 100. No, not 100, like $60 more, whatever that may be. And of course, they show you their shipping method. I do agree. Awaken Realms shipping boxes have been always the best for me, although I have seen some horror stories, but in general, they have the best shipping in terms of getting your game to you safely. So overall, that is the entire campaign. Let's bring it back to me, and I'll give you my final thoughts on if you should be backing this game. So overall, I love the story and the theme of this game. It really plays well into the cyberpunk realm. I love the color schemes. I love the design. I like the mini game with the computer hacking aspect. I definitely want to see more in terms of what value are they going to provide to try to earn this slot for me. And I'm also very intrigued to say that this is an Awaken Realms Lite title who's kind of taken that middle ground in terms of like a medium weight game. It might be like the sweet spot for me with Awaken Realms, because Awaken Realms games are generally a lot heavier, a lot meatier. Sometimes they have a lot of rules bloat that you have to get through. So maybe taking a lot of that bloat away, shaving it down, and giving it to us in a light model, but giving us a game that still demands kind of respect in terms of the field that's trying to get into, does kind of intrigue me. So I'm very interested in this game. I would love to be able to get a prototype and play this and give you guys a second opinion or a finalized opinion before the end of the campaign, but we'll see if that happens. Overall, though, I'm excited to say this one, and I'm currently backing right now at the €1 level just to kind of get an idea of the campaign, as well as get followed up on the updates. So that is where we're at. Hopefully this video was helpful for you guys. If it was, smash that like button, help the community grow. The algorithm is greatly influenced by that like button. And if you like these videos, I try to launch these videos every Wednesday for the campaigns that are brand new. So subscribe for those updates. Click the bell button for the notifications. I think we're sitting about like 5% notification members, so that's awesome. Thank you guys for joining. Also, thank you for the Patreon. All the links are down below, so if you have any questions about that, check them out, as well as join the Discord. I have had this preamble, or whatever this thing is called, not a preamble, but whatever, for way too long, so I'm going to get out of here. Have a good night. Talk to you all later.